Okay. So what is OS hardening? We have talked about operating system and now we will talk about OS hardening. So operating system hardening is basically a process by which you are securing your operating system by reducing the vulnerabilities that is inherent to the operating system and sometimes into the application softwares. Because in India, usually I would say most of the people are not purchasing the licensed operating system. This is a serious threat into the cybersecurity area, and this threat is so vulnerable that most of the people, if they are not purchasing the operating system that is not genuine, then the fake copies and lot of versions are available which has inherent malware embedded in it. Okay, so it's very important to buy a original operating system, a licensed operating system. So this is the first and foremost thing. Secondly, it includes the removal or disabling the unnecessary functions and features, the enforcement of strong authentication and access control policies, and the application of security patches. So when we are talking about hardening of the operating system, we are actually making and implementing a good security level onto the basic architecture of the operating system that is being provided by the OEM. Your OEM can be Microsoft, your OEM can be Kali Linux, your OEM can be Parrot Linux, Parrot OS. So any type of OS you are using, maybe it's your Android, maybe it is your Mac OS. So it doesn't depend at what type of OS you are using, but hardening the operating system is very much important. So if I'd say about the primary goal of the operating system is to protect the system against the vulnerabilities and attacks while maintaining essential functionalities and performance. So this is very important. Suppose you are started hardening your system, and at the end you have hardened so much that you have created a password of 28 characters long with lot of alphanumeric characters, and end of the day you forgot. So it's so much harder that even you also not able to log in. So don't hard that much. Just apart from this joke, the important part that I want to make you people focus that hardening will protect your system, and apart from this security, it will make you enough confident that the minimum privileges shall be granted to the user if you are not using. Okay, so this is the major part of the OS hardening. So what are the common steps involved in operating system hardening? First and foremost, updating and patching. So this is very important because if you are buying a licensed software, if you are using a licensed Windows operating system, then only you can update and patch your systems regularly. Secondly, removing unnecessary services. Like if I say there are a lot of services that are running into your Windows operating system. Maybe it is the SSS service or Telnet service. So you need to remove that unnecessary service that you do not require. Okay, so it's very important that you only allow the minimum applications with minimum privileges. And this is the foremost concept that is coming right now. That is actually zero trust. Someday after 1 month, I think so, we will be taking a session on zero trust architecture, in which we will be talking that how a ZTNA, zero trust network architecture, can be implemented into our networks so as we can implement a high level of security. Because I think you have heard about defense in depth. So that is a very important concept, and it can only be implemented with this zero trust network architecture. So minimizing the services, minimizing the access. So these are the two important things that we are going to focus in the hardening of any operating system, whether it is a Mac OS, whether it is a Linux, or whether it is a Windows. Then the another part is configuring security settings, because like how many of you configured your uh, password policy into your system, that the minimum password strength be of this type, the minimum character is of this type, it should be having this much of special character, much of numbers in it, how many days it will expire. So these are the security settings. And if I talk about the configuration, firewall configuration, do you ever try to know that what are the ports are open into your system? What are the ports closed into your system? What are the service up into your system? What are the service closed into your system? So these all are the part of configuring security settings. Then we have implementing firewall and security tools. So Windows has an inbuilt firewall. We used to say it as the host-based firewall, and one is a network-based firewall, which is usually put down onto the periphery of the network. Okay. So when we will talk about the network security, we will talk about the network-based firewall. And today also, host-based firewall is not a part of this topic because host-based firewall specifically is coming into the network security. So we are not taking here right now. So these are the important steps. Some more steps are auditing and monitoring, file permission and user rights, and use of encryption. So these are the common steps that we usually use when we are talking about the operating system hardening. So now come to the this today's session main topic, that is Windows hardening. So Windows hardening, I think now you are able to understand hardening your system, securing a system to reduce its vulnerability to cyber threats and attacks. This involves configuring the system in a way that minimizes the risk of unauthorized access and data breaches. So this is very important, guys. You need to reduce the unauthorized access. You need to reduce the data breaches. Okay, if I say that your remote session you have enabled into your Windows system, and if you have not configured it properly, somebody can put a brute force on it, brute force attack on it. Okay, what is a brute force attack? He can push n number of password combinations into your system and tried each and every combination until he got succeeded. But if you have hardened that thing, then you must have set a rule that after consecutive five failed attempts, your RDP got automatically disconnected. It got disabled. So this is a simple analogy that you must try into your Windows hardening, because hardening is a very important concept. Whenever you are getting a system, whenever you are getting a server, when you are getting a firewall, you are getting any network device or any IT device, you procure it, you bring it to your office, you bring it to your home. It's very much important that it's coming in a naive mode. Okay, it is everything is default. The default password of 99% of the devices are admin or admin 12345. So you cannot keep the default credentials always. Okay. So changing the default credentials also is a part of hardening. Okay. So you must understand that what is hardening and why we are doing it. So hardening includes a variety of measures such as applying security patches, disabling unnecessary services, configuring security settings, employing tools, practices to protect against malware and other malicious activities. So end of the day, we are able to understand that what is the goal of hardware hardening, Windows hardening is to eliminate as many security risks as possible by reducing the attack surface, implementing strong access control, and maintaining the integrity of system and data. So this is very important. When we talk about cyber security, our main goals of cyber security is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so these are the three important pillars, three important goals of cyber security, and why we are doing hardening to maintain the availability, maintaining the integrity, and maintaining the confidentiality of the system. Okay, so let us start that these are the some of the tasks that we are going to do today. Okay, so tell me how many of you today have your workstation with you so that you can practice after this session. Can you just thumbs up? Okay, great. So try to collect your system, try to be with your system after this session, because I will be telling a lot of things to you, and you can practice it after this session. So protecting workstation. Today we'll be talking more about the workstations on which you are working daily, because when you start with your home, when you start with yourself, then only you can make a good pool. So it's important to start with your workstation. So first and foremost thing is to rename your administrator account. Okay, this is a very important thing that whenever you try to log in any of the server or any of the operating system hardware, the username is defaultly administrator. Okay, so this is a very is not a good security practice, because an attacker, you make a 50% task easy for an attacker by letting him know that the username is administrator. Okay, let us suppose your username is WMI. WMI is a service. So when an attacker recon into your system, an attacker make a reconnaissance into your system, and he getting WMI in some Nmap scans or some vulnerability scans. So he might got confused that it may be some service or it may be something else. So it's important to rename your administrator account. Then it's very important to rename your guest account. Then you must make a dedicated user for your workstation, disabling PowerShell version 2. So we will be talking on these things one by one. So how to rename an administrator account? So this is the first and foremost thing. Whenever you got a system, whenever you got into your company, so try to rename your administrator. Uh, but do these things only if you are a system admin. Okay, so if you are a client into the AD environment, definitely you do not have these privileges to do. These privileges are only available when you are a system admin. So what you can do, you can rename your system account administrator account. So how you can do? So there is a command. What is a command for that? That is compmgmt.mc. It is a command. So you can use that command to rename your system account. Okay. So how to do that? You need to press Windows plus R, and you need to type the command compmgmt.msc. In this, you're able to see, let me zoom it. Okay, so this is computer management. In this computer management, you will see there is a option that is task scheduler, event viewer, share folder. But we have to go into the local users and groups. Okay, so we have to go into the local users and groups. In local users and group, you will find users and groups. We will be getting into the users. Now, it is clearly visible that in my system, how many users you are seeing? There is an administrator, there is a default account, there is a guest, and there is a WAD utility account. Okay. So if you can see, only one account is active, that is IBM. And the other accounts like administrator, default account, all these accounts are being disabled. So this is a very important strategy while you are hardening your system. Try to disable the accounts that are not into use. Okay. So in this case, I have a IBM account and this administrator account is already disabled. So what I'm going to do, today task is to rename your administrator account. So what you can do, just right click onto the administrator, go into the properties. Okay. Now, what are the options here? The name is administrator, and there is an option, two options that are being checked, that are password never expires and account is disabled. Okay, so this is not a good option that password never expires. You must disable and mention that how much, after how much time the password get expired. Because what happens, sometimes you create an account and you don't use it for many months or many years. So that can be a vulnerable part. So always reduce the unauthorized access and reduce the extra rights that you have given to the systems. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to change the name. What are the other options that are available in it? Member of. Okay, so member of means that this administrator account is a member of administrators. Member of administrators mean that there are some pool of users, like administrator is a user, users is a user. So these users have some privileges and the administrator users has the highest number of privileges. We will see in the different accounts that what are the options available into it. So let me suppose I want to rename this account. So I am renaming it to WMI and just applying to it and just put OK. Okay, so full name is WMI and I will do some changes. Then there is another phone account that is guest. In this guest, let us see what are the functionalities into the guest. What are the options? So it is a member of guest. Now you can see it is a member of guest. It is not having the administrative privileges. Okay, so as I've told before, the administrator account has a administrator privileges, but the guest account has a guest privileges. So now what an attacker can do, if he got access to your system, he can just add the privileges. Let us suppose this is the administrator and he can add the privileges. See, now you can see I have added the administrator privileges to your guest account. And if I say OK to it, okay, now let us see suppose again. So these guest user is now having administrator privileges and also the guest privileges. So this is not a good functionality because a guest user should not have an administrator privilege. So I'm going to remove that administrator privilege. So what you have to go after this session, just sit on your system and find that what are the users into it, and how you can check. Okay, I'm just minimizing it. Okay, so this is the process. In the left pane, expand local user and groups, then click on users. In the middle pane, right click on the administrator account and select rename. Okay, so how you are going to rename it? You can directly use this rename functionality. So for renaming this administrator account, I'm using WMI as a username. So now my administrator is become WMI and I've already changed the full name to WMI. Okay, so this is a simple task, but this will help you a lot when you are hiding your system from the attacker's point of view. Okay, so this is I think this point should be clear. Okay, so any questions up to this? Okay, so let us take questions at the end. Okay, we will taking questions at the end, not any issues. Let's go ahead. Now, second important functionality is that you can rename your administrator accounts using the command line also. Okay, so what is the command line for what is the um, command to use from the command line? That is WIMC user account where admin name is equal to administrator and rename. So this is your new username. You can use ABC, anything you can use. So if you are using GUI, this is the option. And if you are using CLI, so this is the option. So any option you can use. And this type of output is basically visible. As you can see, when you are executing this command, so this type of output is visible. Method execution successful. Instance of param return value is equal to 0. So this type of option is visible. Second, we have a important thing that is need to be done, and that is disabling PowerShell. Okay, so PowerShell is a utility into the Windows, and Current PowerShell version is 7.4.2, but still in most of the systems you have PowerShell version 2 available. Okay, I don't know why Windows had not removed that PowerShell 2, but it's very important to disable the PowerShell 2. Okay, so PowerShell 2 is an older version that lacks many of the advanced security features found in the later versions. By disabling PowerShell 2.0, you reduce the attack surface of your system, making it harder for attackers to exploit older, less secure technology. Also, PowerShell 2.0 includes a compatibility mode that allows a script written on it to run on newer version of PowerShell. So this is the important thing. PowerShell can be used to run the scripts. You cannot run scripts onto your command prompt. Okay. So when you open this, you cannot run scripts. In this, you cannot run scripts. If you run some scripts into it, it will just um, alert you that this is not a valid command. Okay. So this is very important that in PowerShell you can run scripts, and PowerShell 2.0 use outdated and potentially less secure libraries and APIs, application programming interface. So it is very important that you do not use PowerShell with version 2, and also you should disable the PowerShell version 2. So how to disable PowerShell version 2? So there is a option that is Windows features. So what you can do, you just search Windows features. So you are getting option here, turn Windows feature on and off. So I'm going to click on it. Now there is an option PowerShell. See, Windows PowerShell 2. I think it's now it is visible. Windows PowerShell 2.0. So it is defaultly enabled into the system, but you need to disable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just uncheck this. It means it is now being uninstalled, or it's going to be disabled. I'm going to just click on OK. It will just take 2 or 3 seconds or minutes, and the system make the PowerShell 2 got tips disabled. Just wait for the changes. Okay, so you need to restart your PC. So I'm not going to restart now. So don't restart. Okay. So in this way, you can disable your PowerShell. This is the screenshot that we have already discussed. And there is one more command that you can use to disable it from the command line only. Okay. So what is the command? As you can see, so this is a command that we are going to try. So what you're going to do, you need to open your PowerShell. That is Windows PowerShell. Okay, Windows PowerShell and PowerShell 2 is something different. And now you are going to paste this command. Oops, it's giving an error. Do you know why it is giving an error? Always try to read what the error is. So it's giving an error that the request operation requires elevation. What type of elevation? It requires the admin privileges. Why this error has came? Because I have not run this uh, particular program as an administrator. So now I am running it as a administrator. And when I am going to paste this command, now its command is being executed. Just 1 or 2 minutes. Uh, it's asking, do you want to restart your computer now? My option is no. Okay, so it done the disabling of PowerShell version 2. Okay, so these are the two type of options that are available. You can use a CLI and you can use a GI. Now, second important policies and second important areas that is important for the hardening of system. Hardening of system can be done. Some areas can be done from the security policies, and some areas can be done from the registry, from managing the registries. Okay, when we will do the forensics part, at that time I will talk about the registries, what type of registry types are, what is a system registry, what is a software registry, what is a SAM registry. At that time we will talk, but today we will be talking about local security policy. Okay, so to open the local security policy, there is a direct command that is secpol.msc. So you can just type it into the run and you can open the security console. Okay, so it is very important for the administrator who need to configure, who need to put down and enforce the security policies locally onto the computer. So secpol.msc stands for Security Policy Management Console and it includes settings. Okay, so what type of settings are available? The available settings are related to your account policies, related to your local policies, your Windows Firewall Advanced Security, network list manager policies, software restriction, application control policies. So there are n number of policies. You even if I take a session of 24 hours, then also I'm not able to tell all type of policies to you. But some major policies I'm going to discuss today. Some account policies like password policy. So let us open secpol.msc. Secpol.msc. Okay. So we are in secpol.msc and as you can see, there are a lot of settings like account policies, local policies, Windows Defender Firewall, network list manager policies, public key policies, software restriction policies. So there are a lot of policies. So we are going to discuss about the password policies. So in the security policies, we are going to go in the account policies and in account policies, we have a password policy. Okay. So as you can see, there is a security policy, then we have account policy and then password policy. Okay. So there are a lot of options that are available like enforce password history, maximum password age, minimum password length, minimum password length audit. So these are the options that are available. So let us suppose I want to make a minimum password length policies. So okay, so zero always in registries means there is no policy enforced. Okay, so in case I want to make a 10 character password, I want to make a 10 character password. I can put 10 into it, and whenever you need to change your password, it will say that enter minimum 10 character password. Then we have a maximum password age. So in my case, I have already set down a password age in 42 days. So after every 42 days, my password got expired. So it is recommended to make a password policy from 30 to 45 days. Okay, so these are the uh, a lot of important areas. Also, nowadays, if I say creating a typical password, it's of no use nowadays because the attackers are so clever because they are just getting into your SAM file, finding the NTLM hashes, using the John the Ripper to make your password hash into your password. So it's very easy nowadays. So the important thing is that creating a hard password is not important, but creating rules for the password, for the expiry rules and all, it's very important. So this is an important area that we have studied. Then we have a account lockout policy. What is your account lockout policy? Let us see. So account lockout policy found under security setting. Security setting. Okay, so I will go to security setting, then account policies. In that account lockout policy. Okay, so this is the option for account lockout policy. This section allows you to configure account like account lockout duration, account lockout threshold, and reset account lockout counter account. after. Okay, so these are the options. So if a account is logged out, after how much time your account will get restored, and after how much invalid logon attempts your account get automatically logged. So you can, if you want to harden more, you can change it to 3, or you can change it to your 5. 5, it all depend upon your system policies. And allow administrator account log. Yes, your administrator account will also log. So in this way, you can see that how we can use the security policies to harden your system, to make your system more, I would say, a harder piece of cake for an attacker. Then we have some local policies. So this is, I will share this PPT with you, and you can see all these types and try to use all these type of policies, go into your system, see what are the policies, what are the different options, and in a day or two we can have a session that is only for the discussion, what are the issues you are facing and all. Then you have a user rights assignment, that for the users, what are the options that he have, what he can access, what is denied to his access, security options. So these are a lot of things that are covering into the local policies. Then we have some advanced policies like Windows firewall policies, software restriction policies, application control policies. I'm not going to show you each and every policy right now, but I have jot down that what are the path, so that you can uh, directly like this is the path that is available. Okay, so you can just flow down to this path, and you can see that what are the options that are available. Okay, so this is like end of my presentation, and I would like to have any questions if you people have.